What's up, everybody? My name is Big Cam, and today we're continuing on my Terminator franchise rewatch slash watch for the first time in general. But we are getting through the Terminator franchise, and the only one I have still yet been able to see is Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, because it's literally just nowhere. You can't rent it, and even finding DVDs for it is hard. So I mean, they tried to scrap that movie off the face of the planet. It seems like, you know, I can only find like German or Spanish versions of the movie, and I'm like, those love machines. I'm looking for Rise of the Machines. So, you know, I got one other option I think I can look at, and then I might have to just find some DVD somewhere and order it to be able to watch it and finish this franchise. But I feel like the first two are the only two that are really clear what their vision was. Now, I haven't seen 3, and what I've heard from a pretty angry commenter was that 3 is so bad and that it destroys the first 2 and molests the story. And this guy had a lot of big words to say about a movie that I guarantee he did not make, nor did he have anything to do with. So he knows nothing about what happens behind the scenes or what happened, and he's like, oh, it's a cash grab. And maybe they grabbed his cash back in '91 or whenever that film came out, and he's been heard about it ever since. But some things aren't that serious, guys. I mean, shit. It's like, I've never once ever watched a movie and then been like, oh my god, it destroyed the other one. I can't even, oh my god, like, these films don't even exist because it makes this one destroy. Like, I don't even know where your brain makes those connections. Like, oh, this other movie was so bad, it makes Terminator so terrible. Like, it didn't. And people were saying that this movie and the other movie, friggin' Terminator Genesis, were so bad. I mean, clearly, these same people that were commenting in my comment section were extra loud in 2015 because poor Emilia Clarke was like, yeah, I'm not coming back for another one. So they kind of had this one and done alternate timeline. And then, like, you know, I say that in the comment section, the kid's like, oh my god, it's so bad, it ruins the story. I'm like, it's a completely different story, right? Like, they make it pretty clear in Terminator Genesis that something happens that makes this timeline now happen, which happens in time travel movies all the time. Maybe you're not a time travel movie type of person, so you haven't seen this before, but yeah, if something happens in the future when you're traveling to the past, and that you know, like, watch Avengers Endgame. Time travel gets messy and weird in all types of ways, and confusing, always. It's always confusing. So when someone else is like, it's an alternate timeline, it's not that big a deal that it's not the original version, the guy's like, it's not the original. Like, dude, if you want the original, go watch the original. It's not going anywhere. T1, T2 aren't getting erased off the face of the planet because this new movie's getting made. They're trying to bring something new and bring a fresh take to this and give us something that we haven't already seen. But people are stupid and they're like, they gave us something that wasn't the original, I'm so upset. Like, cry about it to yourself, you know? Like, if those are the type of comments you're gonna leave, please refrain from explaining how much you hate something to me. Like, if you're going to put some cons, right, pros and cons, if you're going to put some negatives down in my comment section, you need to say what you also like about the project, because I've never seen something and hated it 100%. There's always at least one little thing that I was like, that was kind of cool, but the rest of it was ass. You know what I mean? Like, you have, like, even if something's ass, like, J-Lo's, the movie I've reviewed the worst on my channel is J-Lo's Netflix movie called Atlas. It's terrible. Simu Liu's pretty good in it, you know, like, you still need to drop what you do like about something before you just shit all over something. Like, there's so much negativity on the internet and on platforms that people are just like, oh, what, I wasn't being negative. Like, no, dude, yeah, you are. Like, deep down in your soul, somebody hurt you, and you need to figure that out. Now, if it's daddy problems, I can help you out with that, but if you got mommy issues, you know, you gotta figure that out on your own, because I can't help you. But moving on to Terminator Dark Fate, sorry for that rant, from director Tim Miller from 2019. I actually like this movie quite a bit. The cast in this, I was like, 3 badass women, and Natalia Reyes this poor girl, I guarantee you, she has been in the, you know, the acting auditioning process for many roles, and I guarantee Isabella Merced has beat her out in a few of these roles, and she's like, damn it, I almost got that part, but Isabella Merced got it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they, you know, are very, very similar in the casting process, because this whole movie I was looking at her like, damn, is that freaking Isabella Merced? But Natalia Reyes does kind of crush it in this, and I was like, all right, I buy her Dani Ramos character in this completely new Dark Fate timeline where a Terminator went back after Sarah Connor had saved the day, and they were like on a beach somewhere and kill his son. Now, granted, there are problems with this movie, and most of them are like weird little visual effects things where all of a sudden you're like, whoa, whoa, that looked a little weird, and like the lack of script for this movie. But there are some cool action sequences in this, like, you know, they start the movie with this giant truck chasing another truck, you know, in this big, you know, practical car chase sequence, and that was probably a lot of money for the stunt department. So, you know, they didn't pay their writers as much as they should have, but there was some cool stunts in here, and I do love that, you know, we don't just get the same old T-800 Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, was protecting Sarah Connor. Like, nah, they're not together at all. You know, she almost wants to kill him the whole friggin' time. And he has like a family or something, like, you know, gave us something new with the Terminator, which I appreciated. But then Mackenzie Davis's character, and I also appreciated that they kinda make a nod to Terminator Salvation. They don't like directly, but like Sam Worthington's character in that movie was like a augmented human slash Terminator. So that's kind of what she is, as they call her, she's augmented. But then there's Gabriel Luna, who's a new Terminator and not a T-1000 or a T-800, and from this new future timeline called a Rev 9, where he's pretty much a T-800 with the liquid body of the T-1000 over the top of him, so that they can become two different assassin robots at the same time, type of thing. You know, where the liquid form can take off if the metal form, like at one point she threw like a piece of barbed steel through his chest, and Gabriel Luna's like liquid form goes and sits on the hood and then starts attacking them, as she's like sitting there like, alright, well, the robot version's driving the truck, the liquid version's still coming after us. So, you know, I actually liked the Rev 9, but it's still not as good as the original Terminator, and the way that the T-1000 looks in T2. Like, and those movies are older, so they don't have the technology of today, but yet for some reason they hold up better. I think that's just the way movies were made back in the day. Like, shit just looked great, you know what I mean? But as far as seeing Linda Hamilton back was fucking awesome. I mean, she's still badass in her old age. Arnold being an older guy, still being there, he's badass. Mackenzie Davis as Grace, I mean, I actually kind of was into her this whole movie. I was like, damn, she's kind of beastly. Like, she was like super tall and skinny, but like looked solid as a rock, you know what I mean? Like, this bitch got strong for this role. And yeah, and then Gabriel Luna, I mean, I like him quite a bit, and I think I like this movie more because I found out behind the scenes that Gabriel Luna and Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of became like really close from this movie, and I love that because Gabriel Luna's, you know, currently playing Tommy, Joel's brother, on The Last of Us, and he also played Ghost Rider back on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I really like Gabriel Luna as an actor in person, so to see him in this role as like the bad guy is kind of funny, but also, you know, to know behind the scenes that him and Arnold are now boys is cool. You know, I like that kind of stuff. I like movies for what goes on behind the scenes as well as what goes on the screen, you know, so the fact that those two are friends because of this movie, and they now have a great relationship from filming this, you know, like, that's a positive thing to me from this movie, you know, regardless of the negative reviews or people hating it. Like, I could care less if you hate it. Comment below what you like, you know what I mean? Like, and if you don't like it, you know, that's your opinion. I'd still like to hear it, but once you get disrespectful is when I start to either not comment back and I won't answer you because you're a disrespectful asshole. But hey, that's your personality and your karma, not mine. So that is what it is. But overall, I gave this movie 3 out of 5 stars, about a 6 out of 10. Comment below your score, and people are gonna be like, oh my god, it's awful. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I liked it. I didn't say it was the greatest movie of all time. I didn't say it was the worst movie of all time. Like, I've definitely seen worse movies. Like, I saw Madam Web and Morbius. If you're trying to tell me those movies are better than this, you're out of your fucking mind. Like, this wasn't great, but, like, it's an entertaining movie, you know? Like, it's entertainment. It's not supposed to be, oh my god, it's the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life. No, it's entertaining. It's good. I had a fine time watching it. You know, it's a little bit over 2 hours. A solid little 2-hour movie. Action, gives you the vibe of Terminators, gives you what you want from a Terminator franchise. Not as well executed as T1 and T2, those are still at the top for me, but, you know, it's kind of a bummer that we probably won't be getting more Linda Hamilton and more Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I don't pity the people that have to be the person to reboot the franchise and be the next Arnold and be the next Linda Hamilton, you know, and start this thing from the beginning. Or is it time to let Terminator die? And I mean, that's sad, and you can always go back and watch movies, but I feel like even with Star Wars, if Star Wars didn't come out with the Rey trilogy, as poorly received as that was, Star Wars may have just been forgotten about, you know, and there might have never been another Star Wars movie again after the 6 movies, you know what I mean? But I appreciate that things can expand and grow, and we get TV shows of Star Wars and The Mandalorian and Grogu and Boba Fett and Ahsoka. You know, like, I love projects, I love movies, I love franchises. So to see those things growing and keep getting to expand and evolve and keep going and keep telling more and great stories, like, I love that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be mad to see a Terminator Dark Fate sequel, or just a reboot in general, or, you know, another storyline, you know, bring back Arnold again. I mean, he's still kicking out there. I'm sure he would do it, but he's not going to do it like Terminator 1 or 2, where he's just solid as a goddamn rock and, you know, full bodybuilder, prime of his life, like T1. Like, you know, he's naked in T1 because he's like, my body will never look better than it does right now. We must film me naked. And James Cameron was like, go. But comment below your thoughts on this movie. I ran a little long, but I had to acknowledge that asshole that was in the comments, and he's like, I'm not yeah, you are. You're an asshole, brother. But hey, that's on you. See you guys in the next one. If you've made it this far in the video and you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting below, subscribing if you haven't already. If you'd like to follow my other social medias, links down in the description below. Once again, my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!